Hi there, welcome to the Uvaro Demo Day. For those of you who are joining us on YouTube, we have such a great panel of competitors, judges. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's actually get things started and dig right in. First, I'd love to introduce our panel of judges. We have Rod Weir, VP of Sales at Easy Projects. Rod, thank you for joining us. Drew Williams, founder of the Sales Playbook Builder. So yes, a head of sales, someone who builds sales playbooks. Jake Ristevsky, a sales rep at WaterHub, so somebody who's living and breathing this work every single day to help hold people kind of accountable to that bar. And Callum Bramley, who's one of our course instructors. This is going to be a really fun time. Today we are going to not only crown a winner, but see everything that our team has learned over their most recent 12 weeks. Which brings me to our recruits, the people who are going head to head today. So first off, everyone asks, this is not the order they're presenting in. Our competitors don't yet know who's presenting first, but let me introduce them first. We have Fathima, Lynn, David, and Alysha, and they have got the challenge of not only pitching a product, moving a sale forward, but in that tight window, we're also asking them to give a real technical demo. Now keep in mind, during our program, as they learn how to do a discovery call, as they learn how to do a demo, they're usually given up to 30 minutes to do this. So we've compressed the time, we've put them into a head-to-head competition, and leveled up the pressure. So for everyone who's joining us, like you take a moment just to recognize how difficult that challenge is, to wish our competitors good luck, and also recognize how challenging this will be for our judges. I'm glad I'm not in that seat. So let's actually hop in. For our audience, we do have some house rules. We have a number of people joining us in the Zoom room, and we'll bring that on screen in a moment. We also have an audience on YouTube. For those of you who are in Zoom, I'd ask you to keep your mic muted and your camera on. That makes it easiest for our competitors, our judges, to see reactions, make sure people are there, see if you're waving because the stream suddenly broke. What I'd also ask is to please engage with the chat. You could see it there in Zoom. If you're on YouTube, it's on the bottom right there. And please feel free to highlight the things that are going well, the areas where the sales are going off the rails, and any suggestions for questions. Our lead judge is one of our instructors, Sheila Fung, and she'll be watching for tips, tricks, questions from her buying team. You never know who's going to show up. Maybe she brings in a CTO. Maybe she brings in the head of security. Maybe she brings in questions from the crowd. So please keep your eyes open for there. Toss her suggestions. She'll be looking for good ones. And then, of course, remember that this is space for building up. Questions, catcalls are always fun, but we're also launching some fantastic careers today. So looking forward to some of the exciting comments and enthusiasm. What I'd also suggest is we'll share a link to the YouTube live stream in the chat. If there's anyone that you'd like to invite, to share, to bring into it, you can pass that along. And if you are joining us on YouTube and you enjoy the event, be sure to click the subscribe button because that's how you'll get notified of all of our future live streams. For our competitors, the rules of engagement. Here's how it's going to roll. First off, when you start off your presentation, please be sure to say your name, what you're selling, and who you're selling it to. That gives us a great idea of the role that Sheila's playing, but also the product that you're pitching. As well, you'll have 15 minutes to complete your whole presentation. Then we'll have a 2-minute transition for the next presenter, which is a great segue. This is about 2 minutes from starting the first presentation. So let's take a look at who's up first. Let's see, lead judge Sheila, can you let us know who our first presenter will be?
We can absolutely do that. I am going to ask if we have our deck handy, if we can pull up their faces. That would be super.
Absolutely.
That would be great. And are we sharing first presenter to give them 2 minutes to prepare? Is that the plan?
Absolutely. 1 second. Let me pull that up for you.
I can see all of their faces. There's a bit of nerves going on here. It's all good.
There you go.
Awesome. So today, our first presenter coming up in 2 weeks is going to be Lynn. Lynn, are you ready?
There you go.
I'm like, okay, Sheila, okay.
Fantastic. In terms of that flow, you get your 15 minutes. There'll be 2 minutes split as we hand on to the next one. And at the end of it, the lead judge will be collecting feedback, sharing notes, comments, and tapping our judges on how to move forward. For those of you in the room, we're about to get ready. Competitors, any questions? Anything we can clarify for you? Awesome. So let me take care of undoing my share. For those who are on YouTube, I'm going to bring you right into our Zoom environment so you can see our panel of competitors and judges. Next step is I'll mute myself and the podium will be yours, Lynn. I have 15 minutes on the timer. And yes, there will be a gong if you get cut off. So again, remember to introduce yourself, your product, what you're selling. But other than that, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Joseph. Hey, hi everyone, I'm Linh. Today I'm going to be selling Easy Project platform. This is a project management software. And my prospect would be a director of marketing working in Lonely Planet. So they're like a publishing company working with traveling and tourism. Okay. Right. Sorry, I'm going to be speaking to Sheila, right? That's my prospect? Okay.
Yes.
Because I see you unmute, sorry. Hi Sheila, how's your morning so far?
Good, Lynn. Pretty good so far. It's a little messy here in the morning, but it always is.
Thank you so much, Sheila. I appreciate the time that you take to meet with me today to discuss how your business could benefit from a platform like Easy Projects. So I see on the calendar we've got 15 minutes. Does it still work for you?
Yeah, 15 minutes is perfect though, but it's a hard stop today.
Right, okay. Perfect. In order to maximize our time then, I know the last time we spoke on the phone and you mentioned that you're just looking around in the market for a new solution because the current one that you're using, Asana, right? It's not working anymore. So coming to this meeting, you must have some expectations going on about how a project management software could aid with your business. Would you like to share those with me?
Yeah, so you're right. Asana is kind of where my jumping off point is for the research that I've been doing, and I'm looking into a few different options. I like the general sense of Asana, but I find that it's not sophisticated enough. I don't really feel like it does everything I need it to do. And I'm also finding that the way my notifications are set up is driving me a little bit crazy.
Okay, so notifications, and what are some other things that you might say that you expect in a project management software that we could help you with? I just want to make sure that I could cover that for you today.
Mm-hmm. So I like the way I can map everything out in Asana, but I don't really feel like there's a way for me to see everything that's going on all at once, like a bird's eye view or a dashboard or something.
All right, okay. Dashboards, okay. So dashboard and notifications. Which among all of this do you think is the highest priority to you? Like which has the most business impact on your business right now?
Okay, I'll be realistic. Probably the dashboard bird's eye view thing, just to keep tabs on everything that's going. When I think about impacts, the notifications are annoying, but it's not. It's just my brain, my bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just seeing kind of what's going on and knowing where everything is so I can predict accurately for all the projects at the same time.
Okay, so I make sure I cover the dashboard today and the notifications part as well. In order for me to speak anything relevant for you in these topics, I'm going to have to ask you some questions regarding your company team, your day-to-day operations, as well as your technology stack. Is it okay if I ask you these questions?
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool.
Right, thank you so much. And at the end of our meeting today, there should be really no pressure for you to make any big decision. However, usually at that point, we should be able to decide whether it is worth it to go to the next step or not. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, what do the next steps look like?
The next step would just usually be a 45 minutes digging deeper into the product where from my end, we're going to have a product specialist and you can bring anyone on your team as well.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay, perfect. So I guess let's just talk a bit about your world and the challenges that you're facing right now. So you mentioning notifications. So how is this bothering your day-to-day operations right now? Give me an example so I can see the picture.
Okay, so on any given day, I have more projects on the go than I really want to count. And when I was kind of being cheeky complaining about the notifications, but the thing that gets me is that anything I've input in there, even if I've input it for someone else, I'm getting like pinged constantly. Sometimes it's stuff I need to know about, sometimes it's not, but because it's in the moment on the go, and then I clear the notification, which is probably my problem, I don't always catch it. It falls through the cracks. So it just feels like a lot of noise, and it hasn't allowed me to prioritize. I don't know. That might be my fault,
Right.
but it's just not the information that I want to be seeing.
Right. So like it comes at the wrong time, and it doesn't give you the content that you want to view. So it's really distractions, right? So how long has this problem been going on for?
As long as I've been using Asana, I'm going to say it.
Okay,
it
so it's
feels
always
noisier.
been there. It's always been
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
But I've seen that lately your team is expanding. Is that why all of these notifications is just driving you nuts and this no longer works?
So it's not just the growth, it's the shifting to remote.
Yeah.
And because with that, a lot of things have been switched to sort of notification based asynchronous communication, that kind of thing. It's just a lot. So when I think about the noise in my day to day, it's kind of like, if I can remove that, that would be super.
True. So true. Like if you have to focus on one work at a time, right? Because we're only human. And I know like even if you're a really good project manager, we can only focus on one thing at a time. And the same for your team. Like if you have to quantify this into the hours you lost into all of these notifications, what do you think it would be in a day?
I don't know that I could put time to the notification. And I think when you're talking about time, the bigger concern is actually not having insight into where everything is at any given point. Just because if I'm off with what, like if I don't know a deadline's been extended or sped up, then we're going to be completing it not on time. We're missing deadlines. Or if something's over budget and I don't know to kind of adjust accordingly, maybe because I'm not specifically looking at that thing. I would just like the important things to be the things that I'm getting the notifications about.
Wow. Yeah. Like this is serious though. Okay, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper in here, but have you found yourself being in a situation where you have a project delay or anything with budget that this notification caused? Because from what I'm hearing, you cannot prioritize whatever it is that's going on. Has it caused any specific business impact to you?
Well, every time we're late with a project, yeah. So
okay. So it has happened.
Yes, for sure. And it's hard to determine exactly where the ball gets dropped. I can kind of go back and try to see what got updated that I missed, but like at that point, it doesn't matter. It's the proactive part that I want to get into.
Okay, so I would only assume that if this pandemic is anywhere to be over, even in the next 3 months, 6 months, you would be bombarded, right? Like this no longer be viable if more projects are flowing in. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's accurate.
Let's talk a little bit about that report, about that dashboard view that you're saying about. Like, currently you're using Asana, and you don't think that it works for you, no?
Yeah. The view is just it's cluttered, and I can't see.
It's cluttered.
There's very little with the back end.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to just share you my screen now, just to see how Easy Project could help you with all of this, with Asana going on. I'm sorry, out of roll a little bit. I'm being disabled from screen sharing.
That doesn't help.
It's okay. It's a technical problem.
Joseph, is that a thing that I have to fix on my end?
You should be able to now. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm good now. Can you see my screen okay?
I can. Hooray.
All right. Okay, just a little bit technical thing.
Good.
So in the view here, this is where you can see Easy Project general platform looks like. A lot of features, and this might seem really intimidating, but we can customize all of this for you according to your business needs. So don't worry about all of these intimidating features over here. I want to talk a little bit about this activity center before I go into the dashboard and notifications. So in the activity center, this might look really familiar to you already, right, Sheila? Because it's quite familiar to Asana. You also have the view of all the tasks, the due dates. You can assign as many members on here as possible, collaboration box, and budget and expense tracking. We also provide you with Gantt board and calendar view, so nothing quite strange to your nature. So let's talk a little bit about notifications. So you can see here that, you know, in a day-to-day business, you might have tons and tons of these notifications. And, you know, I can see where you say you cannot even know what is important anymore. And that is why we provide you with this filter that you can just, if you click on it, expense, for example, you know, your project is a bit delayed, over budget, you can control what exactly do you want to see. You want to gauge every single expense to see where this is going wrong. And we also offer you the control over notification settings.
Okay.
So just imagine like 8 hours at work and you're bombarded with hundreds of notifications, but you don't want to see every single one of it. You only see, for example, if your boss messaged you, probably you want to, you know, take the lead on that. So you can turn that on. But if somebody, you know, working in lower management assigned somebody else the task, you want to just let them do your job because you've got bigger things in mind you have to worry about. And this is where you can just turn some of these notifications off if that's not something that's relevant for you. Now in the emails, so this is where it might cause you a lot of trouble as well. You know, you're working every day, and in the weekend, you just want to have some nice, relaxing days, enjoying lunch, dinner with your families, and you want all of these notifications to come at a time when you're ready, you know, to go ahead for the week, and we offer you just that. Even in the form it comes, if you're more comfortable when it's a summary instead of separate emails, you can do that too. How do you find this helpful to you so far, Sheila?
I like how specific I can make this.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Because we know that these problems of distraction, you know, it's just like another issue that you have to worry about. So a little bit about the dashboard. There are a lot of things here. It could be intimidating, but we offer you the visual view of what you can be able to do. And you can expect that it's going to turn out, you know, very, very specific like this once you import your data. Is this something that you see in Asana as well? Or how do you find it so far?
This is really interesting. You mentioned importing data. Is that, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we provide the facility if you want to import data from, you know, Excel or any kind of forms. We integrate with also more than 2,000 other platforms. So, you know, we make this very easy for you.
Okay. Okay, I did not know that, and that's a huge bonus. I'm just thinking about sort of the work for implementation. That would be a bit of a shortcut. Interesting.
Yeah, like I know that you're worried a lot about, you know, where your project is and everything, and if it's delayed, if you can see what is prioritized. So would you say that this Gantt board is something that would help you with the visuals?
Yeah, I like the visual of the Gantt, and I like the fact that if we were to use something like this, it wouldn't mean just recreating things that already exist. We can import. That's exciting.
Yeah, so the Gantt board is like one feature that could help you with adjusting where it is that you want your project to go, where to prioritize. And this dashboard is another thing. I don't want to go into technical things, but this is what you can expect as well, to prioritize what deal is at risk, what deals is on time, so you can have the HO project going on.
Can you tell me a bit about pricing? What's pricing like?
Yeah, so the pricing, we actually start with $24 per user per month. This is with basic features. Is this somewhere in your ballpark?
Okay, that's cool. And this is the per user license.
Yeah, so
It's not a shock or anything. It's kind of the range I assumed it would be in. What does it look like once you get? Do you have like a minimum team size associated with it, or what happens?
that's
when it
a
goes
good
beyond
question.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this price, it includes some basic features, and it also matters how many team members that you're gonna onboard. So all of these, like number of users, number of features that you want to employ, storage, a lot of things could contribute to how the price could be. Yeah. And all of this is negotiable, and we could totally discuss a specific price to your company once we go into more details of what you really need, what your team needs. What do you think if, because I think that we're touching the clock here, what if we have a meeting for the next week so we can discuss all of this?
Yeah, something more specific to how we'd be using it, and maybe also we can talk about user permissions if it's something that I can change and adjust.
Okay, right. Okay, so we're going to touch about user permission and pricing for the next meeting we have. Wednesday, 2 p.m. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, I can do. You know what? Shoot over the invite, and if I have to move it, I'll ping you.
Right, perfect. And typically in this meeting, I'll include my product specialist in together with my account executive. So
Sorry
it
to
is really
interrupt, Lynn, but you've hit your 15-minute limit. You're up. Well done. You can stop sharing your screen now. I saw you getting down to that wire on booking, the timing. That was tight. That was tight. Close. Saw you trying to fit it in. But we do want to make sure that we're sticking to the rules there. We'll give the next contestant a 2-minute break before we get going there. Then next up we have is Alysha. So Alysha, you've got a couple of minutes to get yourself ready there. Before we pass it over to her, Lynn, how are you feeling? Now you can take a breather. How are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like a bit rushing because I was about to ask Sheila what team members that she want to onboard, just a little bit more, and then I'll be finishing. But yeah, we were very nervous, but I'm good now.
Feel better now that you're done?
Yeah, definitely.
There we go. So still want to make sure we give our judges another minute there to finish their notes and ratings. Alysha, how are you feeling? You ready? Have you everything hooked up?
Yes, I'm ready.
Fantastic.
My heart rate is, going a little faster than normal, but
there you go. Lynn set the bar for you to jump over.
Exactly.
So I'm looking to our judges. Can I get a quick thumbs up from our judges if you're done with your scoring and notes? There we go. So, Alysha, again, as a reminder, ask you to introduce yourself, what you're selling, who you're selling it to. I have just reset my timer, so I'll start that right after you do your introduction, but the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you, Joseph. So my name is Alysha. Hello, everyone. I'm selling Vidyard today. My primary buyer is a customer support manager in the e-commerce fulfillment industry. And from previous discovery, I have found out that they're supporting on average 50 plus customers and receive around 30 to 37 tickets a day. The average number of emails before a full resolution is between 5 to 6, and they are currently building out their knowledge base as they want to promote self-service within Zendesk. Okay, I'm just going to, perfect. Hey Sheila, how's it going?
Hey Alysha, good. How are you today?
I'm good. I just saw some of my friends post some pictures of their hike to Garibaldi, and I'm here in Toronto looking out my window and seeing nothing but condos, so pretty jealous of where you are right now.
Yeah, I love it here too. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 15 minutes in our calendar. Are you still good for that time today?
Yeah, 15 minutes is perfect.
Okay, perfect. So in light of that, I'm going to just jump right in. A couple of things on the agenda today. First, I'm going to ask you some questions regarding your role, your team's process, and your goals regarding customer communication. And then based on what we discussed, I'll demonstrate some parts of the platform which align more with your interest. And from there, if it makes sense to move forward, we can chat about next steps at the end. How does that sound to you?
That sounds great.
Okay. Before I jump into asking you a bunch of questions, is there anything you want to add to the agenda?
I guess once I get a feel for how it works, I'm probably going to want to talk about pricing if we have time for it.
Pricing? Okay, perfect. Perfect. So the last time we chatted, you mentioned that you have around 50 customers and receive about 30 tickets a day. Can you just walk me through what those tickets look like and how your team responds to and solve those tickets?
Sure. I'm laughing
Okay.
because you're gonna laugh. So
Okay.
when a ticket comes in, it's whoever is available kind of tries to jump on it as quickly as possible.
Mhm.
I'm going to highlight that there's a pretty high volume of these, and the main reason that I reached out was because it's usually for the same, I want to say, anywhere from 5 to 10 of the same issues repeatedly. So then it's because it's all, email, phone, texting if it happens, but because of that, oftentimes the length of time it takes to actually, deal with the issue is longer than it should be because of the back and forth, because they might throw in the ticket, and if we reply right away, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be there to respond, or they'll respond to half the question. So it's really difficult to get a clear picture immediately of what's going on, even though because it's always the same thing over and over again, we can kind of predict, but we don't want to assume. So that's primarily how things are working right now. There's a lot of back and forth.
Okay, yeah, and that's what we usually hear. And as much as you want to build those templates, I guess we can call them, it can still be extremely time consuming.
Yeah, and even with the email templates, it's kind of like, I got to dig through and find the right one and then adjust and personalize. And that sped things up a little bit, but it's not, it's clunky. Clunky is the word.
Yeah, and then have you guys attempted to make those answers more efficient at all?
How do you mean efficient?
Just, building out, maybe you have a Word document where you can refer back to, copy and paste those answers.
Yeah, so we started to try and compile all of this into an FAQ, thinking that would be a super convenient way to sort of make it available to customers, and then maybe they'll just start using that before they submit a ticket.
Yeah, well, it sounds like the process of responding to these emails is pretty lengthy. I guess my question for you is, how is this impacting the rest of your customer experience?
So from a customer perspective, I'm of course imagining that smoother would be better, and just being able to, have personal connection right away as soon as they have an issue, but that's not realistic. It doesn't scale. And we're not going to be able to do that consistently.
Okay.
So I know from our perspective, it's time consuming and a pain in the butt. But from their perspective, of course, it could be smoother. So the easier we can make it for them to access the information, the better.
Okay, yeah, I hear you. And you know what, this is honestly a common problem that we see with people who have your use case. And we have clients who have dramatically decreased their first reply time after introducing video into their process.
Interesting. Okay, so like that first outreach, the turnaround on reply is faster because of video?
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that gives me a good idea on how you handle email, but what about live support? Do you have customers being like, hey, can we hop on a call instead of email?
Yeah, it happened. I'm going to say at least half of the time, maybe more. Their sort of best case scenario is having a real person to talk to.
Okay, and I don't know if you're going to know this answer off the top of your head. Do you know like what the cost per call is currently?
Ooh, that is a good question. I don't have that number. I can find it for you for sure.
Okay, perfect. And then with those calls coming in and all those emails, do those phone calls specifically impact your team's day and their ability to handle increasing volume?
Yes. giant speed bump in the middle of your day.
Totally. Yeah. And sometimes people just like to get on the phone and talk about random things, and can always go sideways a little bit. Okay, got it. So now with you receiving mostly the same questions from some clients, this usually presents a great opportunity for self-service. Can you walk me through some of the strategies you've implemented or are thinking about implementing regarding self-service?
Yeah, so I mentioned that FAQ that we're putting together.
Yes.
And we kind of pulled that from the most common problems that we're seeing. But right now, the idea was to sort of put it on our website, but it's purely text-based right now. And I don't realistically know how often anybody's going to access that. So
Yeah, and
it's
sometimes
kind of,
it's, sorry to cut you off.
no, go
Sometimes
ahead.
it's the same thing when you're sending that email, you know, having a large amount of text, you can get lost in it very easily.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now, just to keep this in mind while I walk you through the platform. A number of customers we work with use video heavily throughout their knowledge base. So,
okay. Both internally and externally, or are you talking just the customer facing side?
the customer facing side, but you can also, there is an internal side as well.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay.
I can.
Okay, so first, this is your video library where you can create videos, upload videos, as well as store your videos. So if this was your library, it would most likely be filled with a bunch of, you know, how to do something similar to mine in a way. Beyond sales, I freelance on the side. So I have clients who love to see what I'm working on, changes with their marketing campaigns, web designs. And then I also frequently send videos out. Like you can see November 4th, I had to send out how members can change their passwords. So that's probably something that resonates with you there. And you can see there that it only took 24 seconds to send out.
Okay.
So
I like the sound of 24 seconds.
Yeah, it's awesome. So for the purpose of this, Sheila, I want you to picture this as your product screen. You know, a client of yours email ins, asks you a question, what previously took you maybe a couple of days or between 15 to 30 minutes to type out that step-by-step how-to guide, or hopping on a phone call, as you said, with a customer, can now be done in, let's just say, less than 3 minutes, kind of depending on the length of the video that you are recording. So next, I'm just going to show you how to send a video or how to record a video, sorry, and just the ease of the platform as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to click in your Google Chrome browser, the green robot extension, and this is going to prompt you to 3 different types of videos. First you have your camera, which is totally that selfie video. The second one is just your screen itself. And then the third one is a combination of both. So you can have your video here and you can move it around. So if you're hovering over something or you're hiding something that you want to show, you can just move it to the other side. So when you press start recording, it's going to prompt you to share your screen. Very similar if you're familiar with Zoom, when you share your screen, just the difference in the application window and the tabs. So I'm going to go ahead, share, and it's going to prompt you down 3, 2, 1. Now you're going to be inside of your recording. So the main one, or there's a couple of controls that you have here, and the main one, Sheila, that I want to point out to you today is this pen. So you can direct your customers, you can highlight, annotate, so you can point your customers in the direction where the voice is or where the customer should look. And then you have the ability to pause. So a lot of customer support teams we work with benefit from the ability to pause because it allows them to go find an answer and then return back and finish recording. And the last one is the restart. So you can just refresh it and then do it again. So I'm just going to press stop here. And that's going to direct you to a landing page. So this is where you can change the title. You can just review your video, and you can also set your thumbnail. So now your video is ready to be shared with your clients, and you can help them walk through their questions. So for example, you're showing a video on how to log in, you record that walkthrough, you use that draw control feature, point them in the right direction. And then now once you're finished and ready to share it, you'll simply press share, copy the link and thumbnail, and you'll paste it in your email. And with you using Zendesk, there's actually a Vidyard library built directly in the email window.
Like I can access it while I'm writing an email?
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we also have a couple of customers that are using the Vidyard and Zendesk together right now for the exact same use case, and they have seen an increase in their one-touch ticket percentage and a decrease in their full resolution time.
One-touch ticket.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
So I'm going to pause here. I know that's a lot of information to digest, but based on what I've just shown you, am I on the right track in thinking this looks like a good solution for you?
Yeah, this looks like a really good solution. What does pricing look like? You've talked about customers who use it for exactly this. Maybe hearing a little bit about that, or it looks great.
Of course. So in terms of pricing, it is on our website. We are very, very transparent about it. But based on what we have discussed and the size of your team, I think the team's package would benefit you and your team the most. And that is priced at 300 USD per month. Is that in line with what you were expecting?
Okay. It's not Sticker Shack, so that's a good sign.
Perfect.
Okay. And the integrations with Zendesk, is that an additional cost, or is that just a thing?
That's a thing. So we have a native integration with Zendesk.
Oh, right on. Okay. Wow.
Perfect.
All right.
So I guess for you, you're coming up to the busiest time of the year, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Boxing Day. I'm very excited for your team because you're going to be very, very busy, but I can't imagine how stressful that could be. So would it make sense to discuss getting started now so we're fully rolled out before then?
It sounds like you know my world. I was just thinking about the support increase that comes up. Black Friday is a nightmare for sure, and of course Christmas would be great. So I'm okay with trying to move forward on it quickly. How long does implementation take? What does that look like?
Yeah, so depending on kind of where we are today, what I can do at the end of this is I can send you over a DocuSign. Once that is signed, what I'll be able to do is connect you with our customer success team. They will run you through everything from implementing the tool, connecting integrations, training your team. So you really don't have to worry about that. The only thing you really have to worry about is what kind of videos am I going to put on my knowledge base, or what are the most popular videos or those how-tos that these customers come and ask us all these questions about. So implementation is very quick.
Okay. I like the sound of that. I'm happy if you shoot over the DocuSign and I'll take a look at it. Can we connect with, do you take care of all this stuff? Do I have to connect with someone else?
I'm going to connect you with an account executive of mine.
Okay. If you can shoot that over, and then I'll connect. And if I have any questions, I guess that would be the time to discuss.
Perfect. Okay, so amazing. As mentioned, I will get that DocuSign over to you and we will get started on your video journey. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to answer anything. And again, I will connect my account executive on that as well.
Great. Thanks so much, Alysha.
Okay. Thank you, Sheila. I hope you have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Wow, that was great. Alysha, you had 1 minute, 59 seconds left on the clock from my timer. That was fantastic. Well done. How are you feeling?
I can breathe again. Oh, I feel like I didn't take a lot of breaths during that whole thing, so feeling good.
There we go. So for everyone in the room, we are 2 demos down. We are going to take a really quick 5-minute break so people can top up their coffees, hit the bathroom, grab some water. As soon as we get back, we'll let you know who the 3rd presenter is, and I guess by the same mechanism, who the 4th is. So let me just load up for our folks on YouTube. We are going to be keeping that 5-minute intermission, so I'm going to pause that YouTube stream and we will be right back with you. If you're joining us on YouTube, we're just wrapping up our short intermission. We'll be back with you shortly. For those of us on YouTube, welcome back in. We are back from our intermission. For everybody in Zoom, we're ready for 2 more contestants. We want to give everybody 2 minutes heads up. So our third presenter will be Fathima. You're up next, so you got a couple of minutes to get yourself ready. While you're doing that, we'd love to check back in on just a couple of quick reminders. Number 1, if you find these demo days interesting, educational, and you want to see who's at the top of each cohort, you can always join us. They're open and streamed on YouTube. If you're on YouTube right now, you can click that subscribe link. If you're joining us in Zoom, we'll be sure to share our channel link with you so you can get notified. As well, one of the things we also do is the week after graduation, we send out our hot sheet, the list of the profiles and the awards of all of our graduating students who are available. So if you want that advanced access to the talent, you can always get access to that. The 2 places where you can get emailed those notifications are uvaro.com/demo day and uvaro.com/hotsheet. And hopefully my brief commercial gave Fathima a couple of moments to get herself ready. I do have 15 minutes back on my clock. How are you doing, Fathima? All ready and set up?
Yes.
Great. And then a quick pulse check from our judges. Can I get a thumbs up if you're ready? You got your scorecards? Nice. Okay, we are good. Fathima, again, a reminder, please introduce yourself, what you're selling, who you're selling it to. After you do the intro, I will start my timer, but the floor is all yours.
Okay. So my name is Fathima Begum, and I'm selling Easy Projects, and I'm selling it to executive manager for HR operations at the Deloitte Shared Service Center. So, hi, once again. Okay. Hi, Sheila. How are you?
Muted, of course. Hi, Fatima. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. So how's work from home going for you? I see you post a lot about it on LinkedIn.
It's an adventure for sure. Kind of getting into a groove now, but there was some learning pains at the start of the whole work from home thing.
Yeah, I understand that. It happens to me. So before we begin, I just want to clear that this is not a sales call. I'm not trying to sell you anything, at least not right now. So it's just a conversation between both of us, just to see what you are trying to look and if we are a good fit for you. So at last, if it makes sense, then we'll book another meeting, or else we can part as friends. How does that sound to you?
That sounds great.
Right. Okay. So last time when I see this meeting is booked for 15 minutes, does that time still work for you?
Yeah, 15 minutes is good.
Okay. So today's agenda is basically, it's all about you. What is your team? What do you do? And what are your pain points? At last, we'll see how we'll get a good look at the product. Do you want to add something else on the agenda?
No, I want to get a feel for how it works and just understand if it makes sense or not for us.
Very good. Great. So before we talk about us, let's talk about you. So what kind of projects you're trying to run on Easy Projects?
Okay, so some of them are for me, mostly they're for my team. And every project that they're working, there's 2 sides to it. There's what the team sees, and then there's what gets passed on to our clients. So any given product is going to take somewhere from 2 to 6 months, and information might pass through, I want to say 3 to 5 different people's hands. And when I say client, it's typically not a single person client. It's like their entire team, and the team sizes are pretty big as well. So I need something that's going to let me have everything in one place, really good insights on the back end in terms of what's going on, but then also is something that my team is going to be willing to use.
Right, right. So what are you using right now for your project management?
We are using a hodgepodge of a few things. We have MS Project, and then we try to keep all of our information in whatever repository works best for the nature of the information. So some Confluence, some Drive, and then in terms of managing the project, there's a few things going on depending on the individual team members, but for the most part, it's a combination of MS Project and then whichever messaging system they prefer, Slack or text.
Okay. Are you facing any issues with that, with the current system you're going?
I'm going to say the primary issue is just that it feels like it's all over the place. And like on any given day, I can't just know where to find the thing. Right? If I want to know about a specific project, I could be digging through 3 or 4 different applications in order to find it, or tracking down 2 or 3 different team members to give me insight as to where I should be looking. And I would just like to be able to access everything from one place.
Okay, so that seems you have issues. So did you do anything to solve these issues in the past?
Yeah, MS Project was the,
MS
the solution. Yeah, and we've tried to just establish best practices, like really open, constant communication with the team, and in general, keep this here, keep that kind of thing here. But it's not consistently adhered to. So it's and that's our own failing. It's not not just the tools. It's like follow the process.
So now I'm going to ask you the hard question. Why haven't you tried any project management tools before? Any particular reason?
So I kind of thought we were, trying it with MS Project. And when it comes to project management, I, at the time, didn't realize that there were tools specifically designed for the things that I'm talking about. So for me, MS Project made the most sense at the time. And it's funny, that's not actually a hard question, because it comes right down to just what I don't know, right? What I don't know about the industry, and bandwidth and time, and just nailing down a solution.
Oh, okay, no problem. The reason I asked is the most common reason I listen is corporate bureaucracy. Like you get a lot of pushback from the leadership. Getting the approvals is such a lending process that you push back. Is that the case in your organization?
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to say that's a real thing, especially with a team this size. It's kind of like, if you want to adopt something, you got to do it with your baby team, and then maybe eventually get it pushed all the way through. But with something, because what I'm talking about is pulling so many things together into one place, like realistically, I don't know how long it would take to push something like that through. If it's something that I can start with a smaller team and then grow, I guess we can talk about what that looks like.
Situation now. Did you get the approvals finally?
So I have approval to look for something. There's going to be a few other people who have to see it before we can get signatures on everything. But I have complained enough that they now realize I need something.
Okay, so the budget is set aside for it?
Yeah, they don't have a number, but they have agreed that there is budget for something.
Oh, that's a very good news. Now you don't have to worry about getting the approvals.
Yeah.
So on that positive note, let me just share my screen and see what we can do to help you make your life easy. So, okay.
I want to make my life easy. That sounds
Can you
good.
see my screen, Sheila?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, great. So I'll start with this. Like, let's imagine you have a project with a very tight deadline, and it's a small project. So how do you select your team members?
Well, theoretically, I look at what's going on right now, and I figure out who has availability or who has the appropriate skill set. Okay.
Okay. So how's it going? Like, do you get any pushbacks from your team members?
Only if it's related to stuff that I don't know is going on. So I think they're available, but they're not, or I think they have a certain skill set and maybe they don't, but it looks like there's a way to categorize that here.
Yeah, exactly. You always have those feelings that they are that they are hiding something. So what we can do here is you can select team members by their skills or by their name. So let's say I'm selecting AJ. His workload is 100%. So of course, I cannot assign him more work, and I can select someone else like Bob. His workload would be at 50%, and you can select someone else whose workload is less. And now your brand new team is ready, and
Wow.
they cannot lie to you about their workload.
Can I ask something that,
Yes.
and not that I want to do this, but if it says workload is 100%, does it prevent me from assigning it to them, or is it just kind of like up to me to not?
No, it's just like you have to decrease the workload for that certain period of time. You should, it's like blocking the calendar. So you're blocking the workload for the next week or
Very
so.
cool. Okay.
So do you like what you're seeing?
Yeah, the team is specialist looking good.
So let's try something else. So Sheila, how much time does it take to build a report on normal spreadsheets or MS projects?
Okay. It's like, the thing I hate the most. Yeah, it takes a lot. Well, okay, I should say it takes a lot of time to generate a report that is accurate that I want to actually make decisions based on, because I can pull reports at any time from any single one of those applications relatively quickly. The time consuming part is that I have to do it for all of them and then cross reference and then do the call out. Is anybody behind on updating their spreadsheets?
Yeah, exactly. So here at Easy Projects, we have a bunch of reports which are pre-built for you, which are generally used in project management. And of course, you can make your own reports. You can customize your own reports. So let's say we are using what are the activities due, and for all our projects, you want to see it. Run the report. How much time did it take?
Okay. Okay. Can I ask another question?
Yeah,
Will it be this fast with all of our information in it?
yeah, it will be this fast. Maybe 10 seconds, add 10,
Wow.
10 more seconds, that's it. So
Okay.
you get your reports in hand and you can run multiple times. And Sheila, do you want to see something more interesting now?
Do you have something more interesting? Because this is pretty cool.
There are a lot of features here, I have to control my urge to not do the product show here. But
Okay.
so let's see, let's go. You have to just see this one project, like example one, and what is going on. Like what are the activities due in this project? So I see a bunch of activities going on, right? Which are due, which are not completed yet. So I want to know why this is not completed. So generally what we do, we just call it is this activity is assigned to Alysha, right? So you have a meeting with Alysha, like what is going on, why it's not completed, right? Before the meeting, what you can do is go to your activity center, and task 2 is assigned to Alysha, right? See what is going on here. And here you can see all the messages if they have, or audit trial, what's going on. Or else when you see this activity is dependent on task 1. So Alysha couldn't do it because she's waiting for the data from someone else. Press on it. So who is it? Task 1 is assigned to AG. So Alysha couldn't do her work because AG haven't done it. So now you know whom to have a meeting with.
Now I know who to hassle.
Yes.
Okay.
It generally happens in projects, blame
Yeah.
game. They say that
Yeah.
I didn't do because they didn't do. So now you know. So Alysha, how much time does it take to get to the root of the problem generally?
I'm going to say 2-3 phone calls. I guess it depends. Well, now remotely it's different, but it used to just be sort of like ask, and then follow the fingers as they're pointing.
Yes.
So yeah.
So it just takes 2 minutes to get to the root of the problem. I'm sorry, in my excitement, I just stopped screen sharing. Do you see something else?
No, I don't have any questions right now. I guess what I want to know is what pricing looks like in terms of like, I'm not going to be able to roll it out company wide right away. I'm definitely going to have to start with a pilot. And what does that look like structure wise? And then how long does it take to implement?
Okay, so first we'll talk about the pricing. So pricing is different. It's per user license, it's $24, and it's like team-based and enterprise level. And it generally depends about how many license you're buying and for what time. So we can adjust the pricing there. And I want to assure you that will work out the best pricing for you, because I'm seeing this, that we want to roll easy projects across all your departments. So
Okay.
don't worry about the pricing. You'll get the best offer.
Okay, and I like that. That's a thing you could do. Start with a small group and then roll it out. Oh, I meant to ask length of time to go live with it. What does that normally look like?
Okay, so for generally for the team of your size, it will take a couple of weeks, but it's pretty easy. You know, the implementation is pretty easy. You have the support team, and I would say you don't even need that support team because it's very easy. And it's like I'm saying so many things: easy projects, easy, easy projects, easy, but it happens. It's really easy. So, so Sheila, do you have any more questions?
No, no questions right now.
Okay, so in the beginning, we just asked, like, you know, if we want to move forward. So we are at the end. Do you want to move forward finally?
Yeah. So I do. I know that there's going to be more conversations. So if we can, whatever your next step is, I'm sure there's other things involved, but I would like to bring my security person in as well whenever we meet next.
Yeah, great. So next time I'll bring with my AE with me, and you bring your security person, and we'll do a customized demo that will book more time on your calendar so that we'll know how it will look with your data on it. So do you want to add something else you want to see on the next demo?
I would like to see it with some data in there just to see how it moves. Like, I know you're saying it's just as fast. I want to see it with more data in there, the better. And then we looked at reporting. Just
Okay,
yeah. Maybe integrations. We can talk integrations.
Integrations, easy project integrates with 2,000 plus products, you know.
Okay.
So I generally want to brag about it. We are great with integrations. So yeah. So next time we'll meet, we'll discuss about integrations, and your security official will be there. So I'll just send my calendar link to you. So we'll book the meeting. Stay in touch. You don't have to wait for the next meeting to talk to me. You can always email me. I'm always there for you.
Okay. Thanks so much, Fathima.
Thank you, Sheila. Nice meeting you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Wow, there we go. Well done. I have got 58 seconds left on my timer. Well done. I confess I'm disappointed. I had my finger right over that gong button, but way to wrap it up with some time left. Fatima, how are you feeling now that you're done?
It is so, the urge to do the product show is so high with Easy Project because they have like really cool features, and I want to show everything, but we don't have time. But it was good.
Well, it's a good job resisting that. I mean, you managed to tighten it all up inside that window. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Job well done. Want to make sure our judges have a couple more moments to finish their comments and scores. David, you're going to be up next. How are you feeling now that you've seen all three competitors ahead of you?
So, well, I assumed I was either going to go first or last. So, kind of the way things go. But yeah, I'm the anchor man, so here.
So there we go. You're getting all set up there. So same thing. I've got my 15 minutes kind of back on the clock. For everybody, once David wraps up, again, we'll give all of our judges a couple of more moments to finish their scores, finish their comments, and then we'll circle back and dig into the best part, actually sharing some feedback before the final step, crowning a winner. So a little bit of housekeeping we'll have at the end there. We gave our judges a couple of minutes. Can I get a thumbs up when you're done with your scores and arcing? I see nodding, I see thumbs. Great. So 2 thumbs up. Oh, there we go. The bar's getting raised, So double checked, got my 15 minutes. In a moment, I'm going to mute myself. David, a reminder, please introduce yourself, what you're selling, who you're selling it to, and then I'll start the clock. But here, I'll mute myself. The floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Joseph. Thanks, everyone, for being here today. I'm glad it's going to be interesting. It's been interesting so far. So I'm David Cowan, and I'm selling to a VP of operations for an IT consulting firm, and it's Easy Projects is the product. The concerns are about client visibility and how to deal with importing Microsoft projects, because that's their primary platform that they're currently using. So let's get started, I guess. Hey Sheila, it's David from Easy Projects. How are you doing today?
I'm good, David. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, thanks. So I know you're in Vancouver, and I have relatives actually live in West Van and Port
Mm,
Coquitlam. Is that anywhere
nice.
near where you are?
Poco is pretty close to me, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been years since I've been out there, but I remember going to the airport and something I think isn't part of that strip below sea level, somewhere around there.
Yeah, you're right. It is. That it's actually fabricated. Like it wasn't there. They made it. The
Yeah.
landmass that it's on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, it's been a long time, but after all this pandemic business is finished, I hope to get out there again.
It is beautiful out here.
So, Sheila, I want to thank you again for taking the time to meet today. And I know that we originally assigned 15 minutes to do this. Is that still good for you?
Yeah, 50 minutes is perfect, but I've got a hard stop today.
Okay, that's awesome. So, I just want to have a relaxed conversation with you today to explore the issues that came up during our first call. And I hope you don't mind, but I'll have some more questions to ask you. And I'll also need to take a few notes as well. And we're just going to try and figure out whether or not Easy Projects is the right platform to suit your needs. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. And if at the end it looks like we are aligned, then we can move towards our next steps. And if not, we can just part as friends and everything's cool.
Right on.
I'll say. Awesome. So I think from what you told us before, you have some issues with clients that are requesting better access to project information. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm going to say also it's not just that the clients are requesting it. I'm going to own the fact that we should be doing a better job with having communication, insight.
Yeah.
They trust us, so I would like to be able to allow them more visibility.
Right. And you also wanted to know more about how you can take your Microsoft projects and bring them into Easy Projects. Is that correct?
Yeah. So if this is the solution that we go with, that would be way more convenient than having to just recreate everything that already exists.
Right. And is there anything else you want to add today?
I guess my primary concerns, like with both of those things, are from on the security side of things. Just making sure that the insights we're offering our clients are the visibilities that we want them to have, but that it's not, jeopardizing anybody else's privacy.
Right. No problem. And I'll try and make sure we have the last few minutes reserved, set aside to make sure we can discuss next steps if there are going to be any. And feel free to ask any questions at any time.
Awesome.
So Sheila, can you basically describe to me the kind of projects you are currently running?
Yeah. So the cycle takes anywhere from 1 month to 6 months. I guess we'll have the odd long one in there, 9 months, but a lot of information going back and forth, and a lot of it, this is why I mentioned the privacy side, is stuff that it can't be, it's got to be secure. Okay. In terms of what we right now do with our clients, throughout the course of the project, we'll be sending back and forth. Really, it's a lot of screenshots because the way everything's set up right now, there isn't a way for us to show them what's going on without also showing them other things that are going on, at least not in a way that's like visually appealing. So it's like a lot of data, a lot of information, and that's not ideal for anybody. One, that's a clunky process. Two, it just looks gross.
Right.
But the other thing is that it creates this really static situation where if things get updated, a client doesn't even know if they have an updated version of what we're doing.
Okay. Yes. It sounds like you're running a lot of client-facing projects. Is that a correct assumption?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I should have specified. The majority of ours are client-facing. There are some internal ones as well, but we're not as worried about the visibility for that because it's like the kitchen. The cooks see the kitchen; they know what it looks like.
Okay. Yes, I understand. So Sheila, typically when I'm talking with a VP of operations, I know they take pride in leading their team and helping them achieve or even exceed their targets. And where they sometimes struggle is in the communication with clients, both keeping that open and transparent. And as a result, there tends to be some miscommunication with clients, and sometimes deadlines can be missed, just because there's been some confusion around who's responsible for it and when it's due. Is that something that resonates with you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not just the miscommunication part, but the not up to date communication, like it's old information. So that creates confusion with the responsibility factor, but also just with the veracity of what we've told them. And that's the worst feeling. And I know every single team member feels it. I feel it when we've told a client one thing, and then the next day I have to call them back and say, sorry, I'm going to tell you something
Oops.
completely different. Yeah, exactly.
That's not good. Yeah, I understand. So, well, we've already established that you're running with Microsoft projects at the moment. How well are you able to provide clients access to the projects using Microsoft projects?
I typically don't. Like I was saying, I do the screenshot thing because I'm so nervous about accidentally exposing somebody else's proprietary information. And I know that that's probably not the most efficient way to be doing things, but it's one of those, I'd rather be paranoid in this situation than slip up and make another mistake this way. That would be an even worse phone call, having to call them and explain that I've exposed proprietary information. Oh God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why client access is so important to you?
Okay, there's two factors. One is just the integrity and pride that I take in our work, my team's work. The customer experience is important for so many reasons. We've been in business for a very long time, and we've come through that phase where everything was referral and word of mouth. We're in the digital age, but we do have clients that have been with us for a very long time. And on the other side of things, there are some times we need feedback before we can move forward with things. So if we need feedback before we can move forward, that had better be based on accurate information, because oh my gosh.
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. And how long has this been a problem?
Oh, since the dawn of time. No, okay, since forever. It's something I've been concerned with. And of course, as we grow, it becomes more of an issue. But also, I feel like there's been this shift. I don't want to nail it down to COVID, but I feel like it started before then, clients just wanting more visibility. I guess it's that whole, the more educated buyer, the more educated consumer, they also want hands in a little bit more.
Right.
And then, so I'm going to say it feels more urgent.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And what have you done? Have you done anything previously to try and resolve this issue?
Yeah, the screenshots was that attempt. It was, I had to teach the team how to screenshot. That was fun. No, I'm joking. I don't actually, but that's the only attempt we've made to try to increase the visibility. And of course, the mandate across the board, just being like, be in more contact with your clients.
Right. Yes. And so how much do you think this issue is costing you right now?
It's costing in relationships for sure. I don't know if I can give you a dollar value, but every time a project comes in late, like we finish later than we predicted, that costs us money. Anytime we under or over budget, that's an obvious cost us money. So I don't have a dollar value for it, but it is significant enough that I need a solution.
Yeah, that sounds pretty frustrating too. How does that make you feel?
It's like a blend of concern, frustration, but it's all directed at myself. This is something I should have gotten a handle on ages ago. And then I worry for my team because I know, having worked in a role where I didn't have the tools that I needed, I know that that's got to be frustrating for them.
Absolutely. Yes, I certainly understand that. So Sheila, basically the next thing I need to know is your organization. Do you feel that they're in a position currently to implement a solution, and what is that going to look like?
Yeah. So yes, everybody's on board that we need a solution, and I have tossed a few names into the hat, but Easy Projects is the one that I'm looking at right now, just from our conversations. In terms of what it looks like to implement, the whole team would have to be on board. That's simple enough. We can do that within one training session. I kind of poked around on your website. It sounds like there's a fair bit of support in that regard. Is that accurate?
Oh yes, there's lots of support. There's also a lot of online things that you can do for yourself, and it is it's a very intuitive platform. It is literally easy, hence the name.
Okay, well, that's reassuring. So I like we've talked a little bit about timeline. My preference is to have it rolled out before the holiday, everything slows down in terms of
Yeah,
purchasing decisions. I would like to get it done before then if that's feasible. I don't
right.
know
Yeah.
realistically if that's a thing, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay, that's great. And is there any concerns regarding integrating easy projects with anything else in your tech stack?
Oh, that's a good question. What does it integrate with?
It'll integrate with over 2,000 current applications. Also has an open API, so it's easy to customize things as well. So it's very flexible.
Okay. Does it integrate with like messaging, like Slack or anything like that?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And there's messaging within it as well. So, sometimes you can just do the messaging within the projects directly to people as well, which I'll show in just a moment.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do now is just do a quick screen share. Let's see, hopefully this is working. It is good. Technical difficulties have been worked out.
Always.
Good.
Always.
So can you see my screen there, Sheila?
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
And I guess you can still hear me because you're answering me. That's a good sign. So this is the activity center. This is the most common place you're going to be. There's all kinds of things in here. We won't worry about the rest of it for the time being because through your onboarding process, they will help you with learning about these things.
Okay.
But when it comes to dealing with your client, right here is where this is how you assign people to a project. And that could be people on your team. But you can also, there's a spot here where you can invite a user. And under regular, that would be like people who are within your organization. But there's also an option to invite a guest. So this is referred to as the guest portal.
Okay.
And all you have to do is put in their email, address, their name. They'll get an invite, and then they just answer it. They create their own password, and off they go. Mm-hmm. And the nice thing is that having guests is a free thing. You don't have to add user licenses for guests, and there's virtually no learning curve. It's they can handle email, they can handle this sort of thing. Your sensitive data, as you were concerned about earlier, is protected because they're only going to have access to whatever projects and tasks that you assign them. And basically, once they're in there, they can view project progress, they can submit requests and issues, they can track the status of those things, upload and download files, and there's also collaboration with using the message board within here. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts?
So if a guest logs in, they don't see what I'm looking at right now. They see a different version of it, or does it look different?
They'll see whatever it is you want to assign to them.
And that's all?
Yes, and they can't adjust anything.
Okay, is there a limit to the number of guests you can invite to a project?
No.
Okay. It seems super simple.
It is, and I mean, it's one of those things that helps people with reducing a lot of time with meetings and emails and that sort of thing. Okay. And I know we're getting down the wire here, so I wanted to just quickly show you how you deal with these Microsoft projects. If you scroll over to the far right, and there's an import and export part here, all you do is just simply make sure your Microsoft project is saved, and you hit this Microsoft project import, and it'll bring in the project, and then you can again assign people to it as you see fit.
You can just import it directly. I feel a bit silly for not knowing that this existed. How long have you guys been around?
Oh, a few years now.
Wow. Okay.
So basically, Sheila, based on what we've accomplished today, I'd say we seem to be a good fit. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm a little floored at how simple and appropriate this seems.
Well, basically, the next step we would in our process is we actually would do a customized demo for you. And
Okay.
is that something that you would be open to?
Yeah. Does customized mean my data's in there?
Yes, we can do that. Something more specific to what your needs are. And I have my AE's calendar open right here. I can set you a time right up. Would you prefer the end of this week or early next week?
Let's do early next week. That's perfect.
Okay,
I'm
how's
sorry
Tuesday
to
at
jump
10
in there,
a.m.?
David, but we've hit your 15-minute limit.
Oh,
You're close
I
to
heard
getting
David's
that
timer.
booked. How are you feeling? I know I had to cut you off there, but how you doing?
Well, that's good. Okay, I just booked it, so I'm good.
Way to go. Way to go. So yeah, you can wrap up. You don't have to keep your screen shared. You can take a breather. You're not in the hot seat anymore. Job well done. You dug in deep with her, well ahead of getting into the questions. So good job on those. I see our judges head down, fiercely filling in notes and comments. So for David, Lynn, Alysha, the whole crew, Fathima, how are you feeling now that the presentations are done?
Definitely very relieved and
Nice.
excited to hear the result here.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was. Everybody did great, and it's a great experience. It's a whole different thing being on this end of it compared to just being the spectator.
It is. It's tough, especially when you have such a great group in front of you. You were running that conversation with Sheila. I could see her picking up questions that we were passed to her. But there was 24 people listening in, feeding her notes, feeding her challenges. That's tough. Usually your buying committee will not be 24 people. So you made it through this. You can make it through any call. This is solid. I see scores coming in, notes getting added. Sheila, I see you still typing away, so looks like you still need a minute or two. Is that right?
I think we'll need a minute or two to get final scores in and everything. While we're doing that, I'm happy to pull in judges for feedback if that's appropriate.
Fantastic. Why don't we get that ball rolling? What's great is we're well ahead of schedule, so we have the opportunity to dig in maybe a little bit more than we usually do. So great job for everyone. But I'll mute myself here and Sheila, let you steer some of the feedback.
Great. And I'm so excited that we have time to dig into the feedback like this. And judges, just for you guys have a heads up with this, I was going to ask Drew to speak first, and then I was going to ping Callum, followed by Rod and Jake. Rod, I was going to ask you to speak to Alysha for feedback, and Jake to Lynn. Drew, I'm going to have you start with David, and then Callum, I'm going to ask you to speak to Fathima. Okay, so Drew, if you're ready, I'm going to put you in the hot seat.
I am ready. This seat is definitely not as hot as the recruit seats. It's kind of like a warm seat. But great job to everybody. It's always impressive. Like Joseph says at the beginning, like you got 15 minutes, you got the pressure on you, everybody's watching, you're live on YouTube, and it's not easy to get everything in, but I'm always just impressed that all that content and demos and questions and feedback and all that sort of thing can happen within the 15 minutes. So great job. Great job, everybody. David, yeah, awesome work. I think it was at the very beginning, you kind of just set out this like tone that you're just there to have a great conversation, understand a little bit more about Sheila's issues. I felt relaxed listening and watching the demo at the very beginning, but you also were to the point and you got to the point pretty quickly. So it wasn't just about a good time. It was very focused, which is great. You did a great job of confirming the agenda with kind of the main points from the previous conversation, and then also asking her if she had anything to add. At one point, Sheila was saying about the data, I think that she was sharing with clients, was that it has to be secure. And I made a note to say, okay, well, I hope you come back to that. And you did a great job of coming back to that in the demo. So clearly you were taking notes either by hand or on the computer, and then you're able to bring that back into the demo. And I think that's when you're doing demos, it's always great to make it as relevant to the person you're talking to as possible, because a lot of these technologies can be applied to many different industries and many different end users. So that was awesome Awesome to see. Yeah, you made the general demo just very relevant to like a VP of operations. Lots of empathy and understanding in your line of questions, which was great. I like the question of how does that make you feel? Again, just goes back to that empathy and relationship building that you had, and also brought in kind of a personal aspect of, because everybody, all the buyers are, sure, they're VPs of operations, but they're people at the end of the day. So bringing that, how does this make you feel? Because she wants the best for business, but also the best for herself too. So that was awesome. And I think, oh, just the last thing I'll say, I was just thinking, two things. There was an opportunity where Sheila at the end said that she'd like to get something going before the holiday, but just wasn't sure if it was feasible on your end. And that's a huge opportunity for you to just kind of reduce, like take that barrier down to say, and you didn't mention anything there, but just to say something like, yeah, of course we can get that done. Like we've implemented, we've onboarded people within 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever the case is, but just to kind of address that concern right away so that she's okay with kind of with moving forward. So yeah, great stuff.
Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Drew. Callum, I was gonna reach out and ask you to speak to Fathima if you're in a place to do that.
Yes, yeah, I am. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay. I think it was great overall, Fathima. Tone was good. Really set yourself up as an expert on easy projects, the platform. I don't know a lot about it, and I learned a lot from your demo. I'll be honest, I came away from it feeling more informed on the value. At the very beginning, you used something, I think you said, this isn't a sales call. I know what you're trying to do there. I realized that. Could be a little risky just putting that out there in that way, though. I would say Sheila is on that call because she expects to speak to a salesperson. So it's okay that you're a salesperson, right? We're actually nice people, so it's fine. Okay. The way you kicked off your demo was great. I think you said, I think you used an example. You said, let's imagine I'm you, or let's imagine we're doing this. Really great way to paint a picture in Sheila's mind of what the future state's going to look like if she did implement easy projects. So I really enjoyed hearing that. It's very nitpicky, but you called Sheila Alysha at one point. I don't know if you noticed that, which can be confusing because there's a lot of names floating around on this meeting, and that's fine. And very similar names I noticed too. I didn't know if I heard it right, so I had to check with someone else and they heard it too. But yeah, you called her Alysha. The closing was pretty good. I think there's a chance, because you've built so much trust with Sheila, to be more assertive and tell Sheila what happens now with our process, where you could say, typically when I speak to people in your position at this point, here's what happens next, and tell Sheila what happens next, and this is where we're going from here. You gave Sheila more of an option, all right, what do you want next? And sometimes that can lead prospects to be a little flimsy and not be accountable on those next steps. But other than that, I thought it was great overall.
Thank you, Callum. Okay, and then coming down my list here, Rod, are you in a place to speak to Alysha?
Yeah, you bet. So some of this is specific to Alysha, but it's also, I would say, kind of across the board for the others as well. So I would first like to congratulate you all. It's never fun to be under the microscope, and this is a big microscope, so a lot of eyeballs staring at you. So well done across the board. It occurred to me hearing Alysha where there's a couple of things. When a prospect says something like upon discovery or sharing like you showed, and they say something like, it looks great, right? So there's that moment where they go, it looks great. You know, my inclination would be to jump in there and say, I know you're in a comparative mindset and perhaps you're looking at other tools at this point. Do you recall a moment when you're looking at a competitor of mine where you had a reaction like that? And they were going to get reflective. And then before they would answer, you said, you know what, I've got more to show you, just stay tuned, you're going to say that again, something like that. So it's kind of a leading. So you had an opportunity to do it, and that just comes with experience, but so you got that reaction. And I would say that sort of evocation, you just want to jump in there and kind of take a run with it. And So I guess the other comment, and again, thought of it with you, but it's kind of a general statement, is there was a pretty good job in terms of this discovery of getting some numbers, either number of videos or whatever it was. When it came to the conclusions, those numbers were kind of left alone. They weren't pulled back in to sort of numerically sort of justify or explain what an outcome or number or benefit could be. So that's another thing just to be cognizant of. And then I didn't hear today, and I wouldn't say it's a concern, but if I'm going to call like this, I would like to preface a call by saying, why now? Why is, November 5th, 2020, the time you've taken to pursue, easy projects, which is near and dear to my heart. So just getting a clarification, and depending on what the reaction is, it may elicit an upcoming deadline. It may elicit that a previous project went off the rails. It may elicit that there's a new senior executive and he or she's got, a much tighter intention to run things. So it's just general. Why now? Is it a personal motivation? Are you being told to do this? Just trying to get a little bit of more of that sort of vibe and energy. So I guess those were kind of the comments I thought of.
Thank you, Rod. I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Thank you so much. And then on my list here, we have Jake speaking to Lynn. Are you in a good place to speak to Lynn, Jake?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Wonderful. Sounds good. Off the hop, I just wanted to give a big congratulations to everybody. Those were some very inspiring demos. And like our other panelists here alluded to, certainly a big stage to be on. So hats off to everybody. I'm sure you've put in a lot of work over the past few weeks, and it certainly showed. I'm very inspired to have seen them. As far as Lynn goes, I thought that was a great presentation. Never easy to go first, but most certainly set the bar high. I would say some things I liked. I liked how you dove right into it, more or less. You came off very friendly and easy to chat with, but danced around the small talk and got right into it. A lot of people will appreciate that. A lot of prospects will appreciate that. So well done doing that. I really liked, maybe my favorite part of your whole basically demo and presentation was how you not only identified the pain point right off the hop, but you took it a step deeper. You made her prioritize those different pain points that your buyer was feeling, and then from there you basically structured your agenda around that as well. So I thought that was very relevant and timely. So well played on that, I would certainly say. When you actually moved into demoing easy projects, very crisp, very smooth. You can tell you'd worked with the platform before. Made it look quite seamless. Some folks oftentimes just click around too much because they're so excited to show the buyer absolutely everything that it can do. But you were very much focused on the notifications and on the dashboard piece of it, which Sheila had identified as being important to her. So thought that was excellent. And then as you continued, you did a good job of attempting to quantify the pain that she was feeling throughout. I think you asked her at one point, how many hours are you anticipate yourself losing to these inefficient notifications? And that's super important because that might not be something that the buyer's thinking about. So super well done there. Big hats off to you. And then constructive criticism I would have, just the obvious one. I went a little bit shy you went a little shy on time when pushing for the close there. Just a timing thing. I think when I know I'm working with a hard stop, I'll always give myself an even extra 2 minutes because that's arguably the most important part of the call. Last place you want to find yourself is trying to secure those next steps over email or something strange like that. So all in all, though, excellent job. Really, really inspired, really impressed. Well done, Lynn.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. But definitely, yeah, I need to work more on that close, asking, for a strong close, because I agree with you. I was a bit shy over there and not asking for a strong close. Thank you, though.
Well done.
So I love that you recruits have this opportunity to get feedback like this. So valuable. Thank you so much to all of our judges. To our recruits And I know I'm head judge, but when I'm prospect, I'm not taking notes. So what I want to say is that I am just so proud of all of you. The 4 of you have made huge strides over this whole course. You've helped me elevate the rest of the class as well. The whole group has done so much in the last few weeks that I just want to say thank you and good job. Joseph, that's all I had for judges' feedback.
That's fantastic. So we've gone through that flow. Fantastic notes. Sheila, when we started that off, you said you might need another minute just to make sure you've got your scores and the items. Are you in a good spot to actually share a winner?
I am.
Okay, before you do, just so everyone knows, we will crown our winner. We've got a little bit of housekeeping before we wrap it up. We told you all we'd get you out before the top of the hour, and happy to give you some time back. So like all good sales calls, we're trying to stay on schedule. But Sheila, if you can get ready to share our winner, let's get a drum roll going.
You have a drum roll? I'm so excited.
There we go.
Okay, without further ado, then the 2020-8 winner of our demo day competition is Alysha. Yay!
For everybody in the room, that is amazing. The scores, the comments are all great. Don't worry, for everybody who competed today, you'll get your full scores, complete with the full comments. You got the highlight here, but you will get the full picture. Like I said, before we let you all go, we've got a bit of housekeeping. So first off, for those joining us on YouTube, let's pull that up. And I should do the same for everybody here in the Zoom room. So if you give me a moment here, I will pull up a couple of notes before we let you get going. So first off, what I'd love to remind everybody of is that if you'd like an introduction to any of the grads, so if you're here as a guest, as a judge, you're on YouTube and you want to join us, if you'd like an introduction to anybody who's presented here or in the graduating class, let us know. We're happy to help with that. We're literally here to help with exactly that. The second thing is that we do have another upcoming demo day. You can always subscribe to us on YouTube to get notified, but you can also put it in your calendar right now. December 3rd, we have a special demo day coming up. It is an All-Stars edition where we're bringing back previous alumni, winners, demoing some of the products they're actually selling right now. So that promises to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, if you're actively hiring, you can always grab our hot sheet at uvaro.com/hot sheet. The next hot sheet will be coming out next week, and you can always reach out to our grads directly on LinkedIn from that, or get a hold of us earlier, and happy to make an introduction. But before we let you go, now that we've nailed off some of that housekeeping, I'd like to wrap up with a really big congratulations to all of the students, all the recruits who made it this far, who won, who put themselves in the hot seat, well done, but also a really big thank you, especially to our judges. We couldn't do this without your participation. Your feedback, your insights are not only validating, but super crucial to ensure that they're getting the right kind of feedback and holding them to the right bar. So thank you everyone for making that possible. For those of us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. I think we had a fantastic time. Be sure to click that subscribe button and come back soon. For those in Zoom, we'll let you go in a moment. But first off, let me wrap up that stream. So there we go. I am going to stop sharing my screen. The folks on YouTube now have a placeholder and we'll let them go.